Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about the top 5 things that I hate about my Toyota Tundra. Now like I said in another video, it's kind of hard to come up with 5 things about these vehicles that I own because I did search a long time, took my time to find what I wanted, which I would suggest you do the same way, that way you don't have any regrets. And it was hard to come up with 5 things because I pretty much found exactly what I was looking for. But I did come up with 5 things that if I could change about this truck, I would definitely do so. So let's get on with it. Okay, number 5 is maintenance cost. All right, that may not seem to be a big thing, but it seems like when I had my Ford F-150s, to change the oil in that truck was somewhere around $65, $70-ish. If you don't have a coupon to have this truck's oil changed at the dealership, it is over $100 to have the oil changed. Now it holds a lot of oil, I get that. It's a lot. But over $100 to have the oil changed, that just seems like a huge number to me to have your oil changed. I know when it comes to Toyota, a lot of their parts and stuff like that and their maintenances are very expensive. But $30 more to have the oil change in this than it was a 5.0 or an EcoBoost F-150 just seems like an extravagant amount to me. And that's why that's number 5 on the list of things I hate about my Toyota Tundra. Number 4 is this truck was over $50,000 new. It don't have a remote start. How are you going to make a $50,000 truck and not put a remote start on it from the factory? Now you can get those as an option. Why should it be an option? Why? Why does it not just come with it? My Ford EcoBoost truck had it on the remote. It wasn't, it wasn't an option. It came factory with the truck. Once you got to a certain package level, it had it on it. I feel like Toyota should do the same thing. Once you reach the Platinum or 1794 trim levels, that should all be factory stuff. It should all come on at standard. You shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, I want to say I do hate how the Toyota's remote starts work. I don't understand this. I don't know why Toyota does this, but when you start the truck, when you unlock the door and open the door, the engine dies. That's dumb. That shouldn't do that. One of the hardest things on your engine is the starting of the engine because you don't have a lot of oil in it. It drains down. So now I have to start the thing twice on a cold morning, which is when you're probably going to be using that the most, and put all that extra wear and tear on the engine. I don't want to do that. But in the time that I'm in right now, winter time, it would be awesome just to be able to come out the window right there, right up next to the window, hit that button 2 or 3 times, the truck fire up, and it'd be nice and warm and toasty whenever I get into it in the mornings. I do miss that feature that was on my F-150. It had an extremely long length too. I could probably remote start that truck from close to 100 yards away. I've done it from probably 100 yards away. I couldn't believe how far it would reach. It'd take 2 or 3 times, but that truck would start up from that distance. Not saying I need 100 yards, but it would just be nice to even have one at all. Come on, Toyota. When you're paying this much for a truck, that should be standard. Number 3 is mile per gallon. This is probably gonna be number 1 on a lot of people's list. It's not on mine because I bought a full-size truck. I didn't buy this full-size truck because I was going to think I'd get 30 miles a gallon. I bought this full-size truck because it was a full-size truck with a big V8 and it was reliable. That was another big thing for me, is reliability. But mile per gallon is number 3 on the list. Would I like to get 22 mile per gallon? Yes, I would love to get 22 mile per gallon. I would like to get 30 mile per gallon, but that's not going to happen. Now, I have heard in the new Tundras that's coming out, the redesign coming up in a few years, that those trucks will get, 20-some mile per gallon because they'll have like a twin turbo 6-cylinder engine, kind of like the EcoBoost. And I think it's going to also be paired with like a couple of electric motors to help that get off the line and stuff like that. And that's where you're probably going to gain that extra 6 to 8 mile per gallon that they're claiming that truck's going to get. But this one doesn't get that. Now, there are other trucks out there that get much better mile per gallon, but the reliability isn't there like this truck. I know there's going to be a lot of people that love Fords going to comment on this. My Ford is this. I've owned two of them. One of them brand new. One of them had like 8,000 miles. they're not as reliable. And if they were, they wouldn't have recalls. They just had another recall today. I think that's like the 4th or 5th one this year. It's hard to argue with the reliability when this truck has never had a recall and they're having one every quarter, it seems like. So that argument is moot because recalls are abundant. My buddy has an eco diesel. It gets awesome gas mileage, but there again, it's in the shop all the time. My dad's truck makes a weird noise. It's a Silverado, but it seems like Silverados seem to be a little more reliable than the other big three, but this one is more reliable than all of them, is what it is. Number 2, this is going to seem like not much compared to mile per gallon, but it is small little mirrors in my mirrors. Both my Ford F-150s had these little mirrors, and if you own an F-150, you know what I'm talking about. Little mirrors about like this right here in the corners of your side mirrors. Those things were awesome. I trusted those mirrors with my life. Anytime I looked in that mirror, if there was nothing in that lane that showed in that mirror, there was nothing in that lane I was going to hit. Same way at the passenger side. Those mirrors were perfect, and they need that on this truck. I would change that about this truck. That's why that's number 2 on my list. I think that's a safety feature because I trusted that wholeheartedly. Now mine has lane assist, and yes, if there's something over there, it lights up, but it goes out when it kind of gets up in the middle of your vehicle. There has been a few instances when I looked over and that light wasn't on. I looked in my mirror and it didn't look like there was nothing there, and there was something there. So I don't 100% trust the lane assist or lane monitoring in my mirrors or the sensors around the truck. But I did trust those small mirrors 100,000%. I never turned around and looked behind me to see if something was there because I knew if it wasn't in that mirror, it wasn't there. I always look in this truck because I just don't trust that feature. I just don't trust it. Number 1, the number 1 thing in this truck that I would change, and I have to say this, I have to say it, and if you own one of these, you have to believe this is the number 1 thing you would change about this truck. That is the crash test ratings. Yes, the crash test ratings on the front impact of this truck is horrible. Worst in the category, worst around. That does not stop me from driving this truck at all. But that is a real thing that we have to address, the elephant in the room. That is the worst thing about this truck. If you get in a bad accident, you could possibly be severely injured. Anytime anybody wants to argue or leave negative comments on the channel, it always never fails, they resort to the crash test ratings. You know why? Because that's all they've got. Their truck has been recalled 17 times, but the crash test ratings are horrible on this truck, and they are. And if I could change that and make this truck more robust in the front end, where if I had a wreck or something as such, my family and myself would be more protected. That's just how it is. I don't know what happened there. I don't know how that failed. I don't know how it got through Toyota with those ratings without being addressed, but it is what it is. And if you own one of these, it is the elephant in the room. This is the worst thing about this truck that does need to be changed. And I hope in the redesign, they make that a little better and then put it to the front of the pack instead of the back of the pack. But if you read through the comment sections of a lot of my videos, that's what everybody turns to. And it's true, and that's why it's the number 1 thing on the list. Now, I do have an honorable mention. And this is a nitpicky thing, but I did want to throw in an honorable mention, so this will be number 6. That is the backup camera lines don't match up with the lines in the parking spots. I don't know why that is. It's like they're wider. When I'm backing this up, I use my backup camera for everything. And when I'm backing up and I'm looking at the camera, the lines in the camera are always set wider than whatever it is I'm backing up to, it seems like. Those lines should fit perfectly. I have had vehicles that when I'm backing up and the backup camera comes on, if you have those 2 lines sitting on top of the lines in the parking space, you're perfect. You could almost go out and measure it with a ruler and you'd be dead nuts on. This is not that way. When you back this up, they're going to be a little wider, and you have to get used to that. That's just how it is. I've not got totally used to it yet, because when I see that, sometimes it looks like I'm going to hit something, but I'm well within inside the range of hitting it, and it just freaks me out a little bit. And I wish they were a little bit more like some of the other vehicles I've owned. In the comment section below, let me know if you own a Toyota Tundra, is there anything that you would change about your truck? I know there is. There has to be at least the gas mileage or something like that. But is there something you changed? Is there something I missed that you think should be changed on the truck? Let me know. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I don't regret buying it 1 minute, and I'd do it all over again. See you guys next time.